Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. We are now into day 13 of the manhunt for escaped Pennsylvania prisoner Danilo Cavalcante, and he's now reportedly armed and considered very dangerous. I called this. I have two videos on Danilo Cavalcante. One talks about his origin story and the possibility of him evolving to becoming armed and dangerous. And the second one detailed how he escaped from prison through to what he had been doing up until escape day one, until the 12th day of the manhunt. And now we are on day 13, where he's reportedly now armed and considered very dangerous because it turns out that he now has a 22 caliber rifle with a scope and flashlight mounted on it. How did he get this? We are going to get into it. Now, from where we last left off, it was then reported some few hours ago that Danilo Cavalcanti had now been sighted again around 8 p.m. just yesterday evening. He was sighted by a driver who reportedly suspected that she had seen an individual crouched around Route 100 whilst she was driving through that area. She circled back trying to find out if what she thought she saw was actually what it was, but then she didn't see anybody. So this was the first sighting reported around that zone. But with this information in hand, police also decided to zoom in. And I think it's in order because it's a manhunt, and the general public is your best ally on these because you might have the best technology and everything, but if you don't have the general public on your side, you're actually going in blind to an extent. So I think it's in the right sense that the police zoomed in on this area as soon as this information was shared by this pedestrian. But unfortunately, they didn't catch Danilo Cavalcanti based off this tip. Instead, when they got there, they observed that there were some footprints, and these footprints seemed to be coming from Danilo Cavalcanti, and it included other markings which would also later be confirmed as identical to markings from the shoes that were being worn by Danilo Cavalcanti. So for me, I think that this is clear evidence that the police are doing a great job. They've been on his heels, and bear in mind that this guy is familiar with this terrain. He has actually lived there before. So let's give the police and security agencies some credit. There are some people who are condemning them or criticizing them for not doing a good job enough to catch Danilo Cavalcanti as at day 13 of his escape. But I think it's not that straightforward. And just as the police have indicated, no search perimeter is actually 100% foolproof. It's always possible that something could slip through, especially in a situation where you are dealing with somebody who knows the terrain. And that is where we are with Danilo Cavalcanti. He has actually lived in this terrain before. If you don't know much about that, just go back and watch my videos on him and you will begin to appreciate all these things. So the police have their hands full, and they've also stepped up their game, and they show that they are on point and ready to get this guy apprehended. So they observed these identical markings, which were synonymous and consistent with markings from Danilo Cavalcante's shoes. And these are the prison issued shoes. After progressing from that point, eventually they got to a point where they now found the shoes themselves. Now, I think that this guy is intelligent. I said this in my previous videos. I remember there was a comment about someone asking if he's more lucky than intelligent, but I think this guy has a method to his madness. Why would he ditch the shoes? I think he's smart enough to know that these police officers and these security officials are really smart, and one of the mediums through which they'll be tracking him will be his footprints. And I'm sure he's following the news. He's watching their press conferences some way, somehow, just so he can also have a chance of being ahead of whatever they are putting out against him to apprehend him. And if he's doing that, and he's as intelligent as I suspect he is, he would get to know that it is best he ditch those prison issued shoes he's wearing because it makes it easier for them to track him when they see any footprints. Imagine he's wearing any other shoe or any other boot. How then would you know these boots more closely is from Danelo Cavalcante's footprint? You know? And I think that that is where this guy is evolving to. So they saw the footprints, they saw the markings, and they confirmed that these were markings coming from the prison issued shoes of Danilo Cavalcante, only to conduct an in-depth search in those areas and then end up finding that he had actually ditched those prison issued shoes. So you see, this guy is intelligent. That's what I believe. And he has a track record, he has a history of escaping or trying at least to escape from law enforcement. You can get all these from my previous videos on Danilo Cavalcante. They are in the playlist. And aside the police finding his prison issue shoes ditched by him, they just proceeded some few distance and got a report that he had stolen boots from someone's porch. So you see where the whole thing is going. This guy is thinking and he's trying to stay ahead, or better still, get ahead of the police, because now, how do you track his footprints? You can see footprints from somewhere, but how do you conclusively arrive at the point that these are for Danilo Cavalcante? It makes it more difficult for the police now. And this to me confirms that this guy has a level of intelligence to it. Because how would you get to this point? And that is where he is. And he went on to steal a pair of work boots from the porch of another resident. Now, if the residents can help the police identify these boots, maybe it still gives the police an advantage as to the specific boot markings they are looking out for. But then again, he could steal another one if he's hard enough. Now, at about 10 p.m., a resident from Coventryville Road also reported to the police that he had actually encountered a man which he felt was Danilo Cavalcante. According to his description, this man was actually a short Hispanic man, and this man entered his garage whilst he was in there. So there was this face to face encounter. Now, this to me shows that Danilo Cavalcante has evolved. I said it in my last video about him that I see this guy is escalating. I see he has gotten to the point where his back is against the wall, and I see that he is a man who has nothing to lose, and it makes him very, very dangerous. But after things that have transpired on day 13, I think that those statements I made have turned out to be understatements, because as it will turn out, Danilo Cavalcante snuck into this garage whilst the owner was there, and he stole his 22 caliber rifle with a scope and a flashlight fixed on it. So now he is armed and dangerous with his back against the wall. Try solving an equation if you're a resident. This situation just escalated from being very critical to being over the roof, because now he has a weapon. He can defend himself from a distance. This is a 22 caliber rifle with a scope and a flashlight. He doesn't need to get close to somebody before he can defend himself. If for anything, he can set up a perimeter himself and try to pick people off if they try to get close. Although that will give away his location, but that also serves as a danger to people trying to find him. Now, when he snuck into the garage, this owner allegedly saw him and opened fire on him with a pistol. This is how crucial the situation is. Imagine you were in your garage and you turn around and you've seen this guy and he steals your 22 caliber rifle. the whole community is on edge just because of this 34-year-old convicted killer. And I think that there should be a thorough investigation. I know one is going on, but I think it should be very thorough as to how he escaped. Any life that will be lost as a result of this guy's escape should be tracked and pinned on the people responsible for his escape. These are my 2 cents, especially if they are found culpable of being deliberately incompetent in their security endeavors to ensure that he escaped. Then it's even going to be another case altogether, because from the way I'm seeing this is escalating too fast and too quickly, because he now has a 22 caliber rifle. And I'm just praying. I don't know how this will end, but I'm praying it ends without anybody getting hurt, even Danilo Cavalcante himself. Because if he has seen the need to take that weapon at the risk of losing his life or getting shot whilst attempting to do so, then it means he has a plan for it. And educate me, he's a convicted murderer. Which other plan do you think he would have as to why he would need a 22 caliber rifle? It's obvious, right? To defend himself. From who? From everybody, because as it stands now, it's Danelo Cavalcante against the world. I'm sure in his mind, that is how he sees things now. It's the whole world against Cavalcante. And that is where push has come to shove. That is where he's now at a point where his back is against the wall, and everybody who comes into his crosshairs literally is in danger. This situation is so serious, and I'm impressed with the way the police have also sounded caution to the general public and advised them to secure themselves. I think that this has gone over the roof from where it started. It has escalated too fast, and it has gotten to a point where the criticality of the issue cannot be overemphasized. There are no indications also to suggest that he got hit from those shots that were fired at him by the owner of the 22 caliber rifle he stole, because there are no blood stains, there are no signs that he got hit. So it's safe to assume that he escaped unhurt. And when police came in and searched around, they also found that that green sweater he was previously seen wearing on that ring video camera footage had been ditched as well. So you can see that this guy is evolving, like I said. He has a plan to it. And I'm not surprised that he has survived for this long without getting captured, because he knows the area. If you look at how this case started, the seemingly impressive maneuver with which Danilo Cavalcante used to scale up the wall from that Chester County prison and escape, through to the fact that he has seemingly single-handedly avoided recapture, given the accessories, the technology, the number of men available to the law enforcement agencies on this manhunt. I think that this guy has some intelligence to what he's doing, or he has somebody helping him who is very effective. But even with that, his intelligence will still come into play, because as it stands now, as at day 13, he has over 500 law enforcement officers on his heels, and some way, somehow, this guy is still out there. Now armed with a 22 caliber rifle with a scope and a flashlight. Please, if you are watching me and you are in the United States of America, in these areas where Danilo Cavalcante is suspected to be roaming, please don't take any security advice given to you by law enforcement for granted. Please, your adherence and paranoia could actually end up making the difference between you becoming a victim or getting injured or traumatized and you staying safe. Because at this point in time, I think that Danilo Cavalcante, like I said, is at a point where he can do anything to resist arrest. That is what I think. If you don't agree, let me know. If you agree, let me know. And let me know other information about this that I haven't touched on in this video. I think that he's at the point where he's ready to do anything to avoid recapture. And the fact that he has seen it wise to steal a 22 caliber rifle with a scope and a flashlight on it means that this guy probably is going to also establish his own perimeter. And I pray it doesn't get to the point where he would want to use somebody as a scapegoat to warn people to keep clear of his heels, because he has a weapon and I believe he's not afraid to use it. I haven't been able to find out the number of bullets he was able to get for this weapon, but I think that these are dangerous times. These are dangerous times, and I fear for the people who helped put him in jail in the first place, who helped convict him in the first place. And I'm sure, like I said in my previous videos, that the security agencies have beefed up security for these people, because to me, it looks like Danelo Cavalcante is on a mission. He is on a journey. He's not just avoiding the law. I think he's going somewhere. I believe he will get caught, but it's just a matter of when he will get caught, and God forbid, the extent of damage he would have caused to property, and especially, God forbid, human lives before he gets caught. I think that there's a possibility this manhunt could end in a showdown where, God forbid, there's a possibility that there could be a hostage situation, especially when he has no problem breaking into people's homes. He has no problems even confronting people when they are in their own homes, just so he is able to get something to protect himself on. I believe his survival instincts have kicked in full gear, 110% overboard, and this guy is dangerous and capable of doing anything. I emphasize anything, just so he remain free. If you are watching this video, just share. It could end up educating somebody on these things. And let me know what you think about this whole thing. Do you believe Danilo Cavalcante will be caught? And if yes, in what manner? Do you think it will get to a point where he will surrender himself because he would have gotten to a point where he has nowhere else to go? Or you think this guy will go down swinging, at which point there's going to be some risk to himself, the officers, and other residents in that neighborhood? Subscribe if you are yet to do so. We are following this case. We'll bring you updates as and when they are due. Until then, please keep an eye out, especially if you are in those localities, and stay safe out there.